We are Team 2 will present the topics Big Data for Business Strategy and Big Data for Customer Interactions.
You may work in a massive multinational corporation or you may work in a scrappy young startup, but no matter where you work, you have to make decisions about how you're going to make your business work and reach its potential. And data should always. Now, maybe you have a simple situation. Maybe you already have consistent profits going up and up and up each month, so in that case, just keep doing what you're doing, do more of the same because Maybe you've cornered the market on some new wonder widget and you're growing 10x every year. By all means, just keep what you're doing and enjoy your uninterrupted prosperity. But reality is rarely that simple. Customers' attention wanders, competitors arise, the market gets saturated and economic environments changes, so you have to adapt in that case. Also, you need to identify potential profits, things that you could do to add to your business, and potential risks, things that potentially represent a threat to your operations. Now, you can use data to answer these questions, and maybe you've got some simple methods. Maybe you just look at your sales numbers in a database: up, down, up. Or maybe you have customer data in CRM software. That's customer relationship management, and CRM software can be very basic, it can be very sophisticated, depends on what you have. Also, you have social media accounts and you have websites, and you can look at the built-in analytics for each of those. Those can give you individual images into what's going on in your business. But there's a major problem with all of those approaches. Everybody's doing them. Remember, if you're in the business world, you're in a competitive environment and you need a competitive advantage. So it's pretty obvious that you can't simply do the same things that all of your competitors are doing. At best, you would keep even with them. But it won't put you ahead. You need a competitive advantage, and this is where big data comes in. Remember, big data is data that's characterized by its unusual volume, its high velocity, and its astounding variety of formats and sources. What these together mean is that big data has the potential of giving you a competitive advantage in your business operations. There's a few different things. For instance, you can identify new patterns in your data, you can find relationships, you can find trends that other people can't because you're able to look at it in a more detailed, nuanced, and responsive way. You can use novel data sources. This is a sell. I know some local companies that do amazing work on biological experiments, connecting hundreds of thousands per week, then using microscopes to take photos of the cells and then using artificial intelligence to process those photos. It's a novel data source. It's extremely high quality data, and it's actually allowing them to get a huge advantage in the pharmaceutical market. Also, the intelligent use of big data through data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence allows you to adapt dynamically in real time, not just quarterly or monthly or yearly. It allows you to identify new trends and new markets and start engaging with them immediately. You can become an agile organization through the proper use of big data. Now let me say just a little bit more about each of these. With the new patterns, big data brings in with it a whole new suite of new algorithms, new ways of processing. It's true that a lot of traditional methods likely in your regression can be extraordinarily effective with the proper data. But sometimes your questions go beyond that, and you do need the algorithms that come with the big data revolution. You can focus on exceptional cases, and especially because you're going to have a lot of data. Remember, it's big data. You're going to have a lot of data, and you can focus on those edge cases and identify possibly a new niche that's been untapped. You can follow nonlinear patterns. Many other methods assume you can draw a straight line or put a flat plane through it. Many of the big data methods allow you to get much more intricate than that, and there's new methods for identifying clusters of potential clients of maybe a subgroup that has not been completely addressed. By using the methods that come along with the big data, you have the potential of identifying these new patterns. Now, novel sources. Social media posts are a tremendous way of getting unfiltered and unprompted data from your potential audience. You're going to want to look at product reviews both on big e-commerce sites and also things like bloggers who review things for their own audience. That's going to give you amazing insight, but again, because it's an unusual kind of data, is video data or it's unstructured text, that means big data, and that means you're going to need that whole tool set that comes along with it to get the information out of that. Or you can actually use satellite imagery. There are many companies, large companies, that use satellite images of their competitors' parking lots to determine how many people are there, how many people are going in and out, and at what time, as a way of understanding who they're up against in their operations. Or sensor data. Again, this is part of the high velocity element of big data, and that could be one of the novel sources you use in getting a competitive advantage. And then the adaptability or the agility. You can quickly spot changing trends by casting a much wider net. Again, using the naturally arising social media data, looking at these immediate trends, you can anticipate changes in things like shipping costs or vendor productivity, or other things that influence your supply chain. You can adapt your pricing to the competitive environment. There's times that you're going to need to change your pricing and your model to better meet both what's going on around you and the abilities of your intended audience. By looking at the big data that's available, again, the high volume, the high velocity and the great variety, you can get these insights that you cannot get through standard methods. And again, when you get new data and you get new methods, you have new insight and you get a competitive advantage for your business.
Big data for customer interactions. In an ideal world, this is how your customers are going to feel every single time they connect with you. They'll be in a state of constant delight. Well, that's the goal, and there's a few ways that you can go about trying to understand how you can constantly delight your customers. You can look at things like what did they buy previously? What's their history with your organization? Or maybe what market segment are they in? So you can look at what other people who were similar to them in some ways have done previously. Use that as a stand-in for their own behavior. Or maybe you can do something like what have they searched for online, even when they weren't exactly in your own e-commerce site. Well, remember, when you put together these profiles and you're trying to identify what a person is likely to buy, you need to be concerned about the accuracy of your predictions. So you need to look at things like sensitivity. If they're likely to respond to an ad and buy something, so if they actually are in your target audience, make sure to show it to them. So when you have a real candidate, make sure it triggers the response and you show them the thing that they want to see and that they want to get. At the same time, you want to balance that out with specificity, and that is only show ads to people who are likely to respond and buy something. You're wasting time and you're wasting money if you are showing ads and doing these engagements with people who have no interest in what you're doing, or, heaven forbid, they already bought it, and shows that you are not staying on top of things. I mean, truthfully, anybody's who done this and had an ad follow them around on the internet, that's a false positive where they think you're a target and you're not. That makes customers feel like they're being stalked by some organization, and truthfully it's a creepy feeling. So you don't want to do that. You need to be more precise in your targeting and your categorization of potential customers. Fortunately, that's one of the things that big data lets you do. The reason you can do that is because big data gives you more data sources. It's not just the database of they purchased this, they visited the site here. Again, more sources. You get the unstructured data. Maybe you get some sort of information about the other sites they visit, maybe about information that they make public through comments on websites or posts that they share with other people. You get a wide range of more data sources that you can't analyze with standard methods. In addition to that, you simply get more data by casting a wider net, both in terms of who you address and the kind of sources that you use. You have more total data. And when you have more data, you can identify things with greater precision, more accuracy. You can look at the edge cases and still have enough information to make a good decision. Also, you can be more sensitive to changes in a person's interest, the things that they've already bought, the things that they've said online, the things that are happening all around them, and you can adapt to those changes in a more agile manner. And then really, when a person is shopping for instance, and they're on their phone, you want to benefit from the low latency of edge computing. Let their phone do some of the processing. And if it's properly set up, you can use even your big data algorithms and results in that particular situation. Now there are a few major benefits of using big data in these ways. Number 1, your customers are more likely to feel heard, because they know that you have seen what they've said about you. They know you're paying attention to what they want, so feeling heard is number 1. Then feeling understood. Not only are you monitoring what's going on, it makes sense to you and you're able to respond appropriately, and appropriately is a major qualification there. That gets back to the specificity of the targeting. And then finally, you are also able to help your customers feel respected by offering them what they want in the manner that they want and not deluging them with other things that are irrelevant to them. So by using big data carefully in your customer interactions, your customers can feel heard, they can feel understood, and they can feel respected, and altogether, those make you a company that they trust and a company that they are more likely to do business with in the future, which, after all, is your goal. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.